Peter Thomas Fornatal, happy to be back with you from the infield at the Preakness in just over 24 hours' time. That's going to be Jack Harlow back on that stage back there. Great event, the Preakness. Great vibes here for Black-Eyed Susan Day. This is a video about how to bet the Preakness. One thing I'm going to tell you straight away is you should get involved in the first Grand 3 pick'em. This is a contest where if somebody happens to pick the superfecta in 3 straight races, one is the Preakness tomorrow, and then it will continue with a race in the fall and another in the winter. If you get the top 4 in order correct, you win $5 million. One person will definitely win $100,000 in this pick'em contest. It is free and easy to play. Send you to the website. Easiest way to get there, I think, is inthemoneypodcast.com/grand. You see right there, there's the Preakness field. You have an opportunity to just pop in your top 4 selections, register, and again, chance to win up to $5 million. Definitely want to get involved. But of course, not the only way to bet the Preakness. Lots of other options. And that's the topic of this video. And to get another idea from a guy known for his betting acumen, he has a new book we're going to talk about in a minute. But we're going to bring him in first. He's Matt Miller, the author of A Better Way of Thinking. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing terrific. I wish I was there with you. It looks like a terrific time and a nice day so far.
Always a good time here in Baltimore for the Preakness. Let's talk about this year's Preakness, and we'll start with something like this this pick'em challenge. What, as somebody who's regarded as pretty serious bettor, is your attitude about a free contest like this? Is it something you feel like is for the little people, or is it something that you're interested in playing yourself?
This is for absolutely anybody. It's 3 seconds of effort for a potential huge life-changing score, and it's kind of fun. So, I mean, to me, I talk in the book about risk reward and all things like that. I mean, this is 2 seconds of risk. You take 2 seconds, fill out your picks, and move on with your day. And if you get lucky, the pressure's going to turn up for the second leg. It'll be a great time.
Yeah, there's the next race is the California Crown, the newly renamed Awesome Again Stakes, Breeders' Cup prep action out at Santa Anita, and then it will all culminate early next year with the Pegasus. inthemoneypodcast.com/grand, the place to go for that. I'm going to go a little out of order here. I want to talk about the book for 1 second before we get into your specific idea of how to play the Preakness. The book, it's called A Better Way of Thinking. It's just been on sale for a handful of days. I've seen on the sales side that it's going well. I've gotten a lot of messages from viewers here on the YouTube channel and over at our podcast, In the Money Players Podcast, people who are thrilled with A Better Way of Thinking. How's it gone so far from your point of view, Matt?
This has been way more fun than I expected. I am getting the funnest, most cool phone calls, emails, texts, DMs, people dying to tell me their stories. They do enjoy the fact that I am very cognizant of my years of not being great at this, and I think it's the stories of losing that are actually resonating with me.
A Better Way of Thinking is the place to go. A Better Way of Thinking.com, I should say, is the place to go if you want to get a copy yourself. Matt has been very open to communicating. You can go to that website. You can drop him a line if you have further questions. The line I always use about the book is the only thing I don't like about the book, Matt, is it makes me a little sad when I think about how much more money I'd have in my pocket if I read it 20 years ago instead of now. Okay, but we got the book plug out of the way. We talked about our sponsor. It's time to talk about the Preakness. How about your wagering approach to this year's race? We can take a look at the field there, that major scratch of Muth, but we're still left with a field of 8. What's going to be your approach betting this year's Preakness Stakes?
Yeah, that scratch to me really complicated things. That was my pick. I thought the horse was most likely to stand out over the field. And now this becomes much more of a horse race, in my opinion. I don't have the strongest of handicapping opinions here. I think Tuscan Gold definitely looks interesting. You know, I've looked at the pace. I've looked at all that. I do think Imagination also looks interesting. You could absolutely picture this being one of those Baffert runners that stays on. But as I look at the race from a betting perspective, I actually want to take this in a slightly different direction. Yeah, I suppose if you like Catching Freedom at 6-1 or Tuscan Gold at 8-1, first of all, I'm not sure you're going to be getting those prices with the scratch of Muth. So as you look at the prices you're going to be getting, this does feel to me like not that terrific of a betting race. Unless you just nail it cold, this seems like a tough one to really make a lot of money. The direction my brain goes is to find a better way to make money on this race. This is the last race of the Preakness contest run on ExpressBet. And this all of a sudden becomes a much more interesting handicapping and betting puzzle when it's in the framework of a contest. So for me, I hate giving the answer of it depends. I can't tell you who my pick is going to be for sure in the Preakness, but ideally, I would love to be entering that race in a position to be able to pick a couple of horses. I don't feel super terrific about any one in particular. I suppose Mystik Dan is definitely my sentimental pick. I have a hard time personally, maybe it's a fault, I'm not sure. I have a hard time not liking a horse 2 weeks ago, having the horse beat me and then being right behind him. Maybe I'll get proven wrong again, but that's
miss the wedding, attend the funeral sort of situation. Is that what you're looking to avoid?
Yeah, it feels a little silly to have missed it, and now just a couple weeks later with additional question marks take a fraction of the price. That's a tough one for me. But again, if I'm in a luxury position in a contest where I can afford to Dutch some daily doubles, where I can take 2 or 3 horses, sure, that horse gets a lot more interesting to me. So without giving away too much of my strategy, I'm going to be playing early. I have a couple of spots picked early on the card. The later races to honestly feel a bit confounding, but it's a tournament. And so whether or not you like the Preakness as a betting race, if you're playing the tournament, it is your most important betting race. And okay, we'll see where I'm at entering that. Hopefully I'll have some ammunition and be ready to fire.
So the answer I'm hearing, how do you bet the Preakness? You bet it in the context of the contest, and you hope to get there, maybe get alive to the likes of Imagination and Tuscan Gold if your bankroll allows against the favorite, or maybe use similar ideas to mess around in daily doubles with those same horses. Is that a decent characterization of your opinion?
It is. And I look back at the viewer and say, what's your opinion? It may be that this isn't the Derby. This isn't a race that everyone feels they have to bet no matter what. And so if you don't have a super strong opinion on the Preakness, just watch it. It's super fun. Root for the Derby horse, hope for a Triple Crown this year. That's a good time. There's nothing wrong with looking at the race saying, I don't love it from a cash betting perspective. But like you summed up, when you put this in the context of a tournament with all the additional equity you pick up in the prize pool, okay, this gets a lot more interesting very quickly for me.
All right, Matt, great stuff. A few more things we'll summarize. If you want to play in that tournament, expressbet.com/tournaments. That'll get you right to it. You can compete toe-to-toe with Matt and some of the other top contest players, and it's always a fun way to see your name on that leaderboard to compete for that extra equity in the context of the contest. If you're not going to do that, get involved with some free stuff. We told you already about the Pick'em, the first Grand 3 Pick'em. InTheMoneyPodcast.com/grand, chance to win $5 million in that one. And speaking of free contests, ContestJockey.com, we've got one where you can win a bet on the Preakness Day nightcap. The free ContestJockey.com contest ends in the Preakness, and the top finishers get a bet in that last race, that get-out race, the top-up race, whatever you want to call it, and we'll get you sorted out with a free bet in that one. It's a fun new way to play. ContestJockey.com. I would think that's something also, if you're not too distracted with the cash contest, you might want to take a little bit of a look at.
Absolutely. And again, you've done your homework already, so you're just taking the limited time to plug your opinion into somewhere else. It's totally worthwhile.
We do want to hear what you have to say, and we want to hear who you think the winner of the Preakness is going to be. So feel free to leave that in the comments, and also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, In the Money Media on YouTube, and subscribe to our podcast, In the Money Players Podcast, wherever you get your pods. That's going to do it for this quick YouTube segment. We thank Matt Miller one more time. We encourage you to go check out abetterwayofthinking.com. For Matt and producer AJ, I'm PTF. May you win all your Preakness photos.